It's the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia, with your host, Bob Snap.
Hey guys, welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. The old mic's on. Today's video is on how Opie was supposed to be a wisecracking kid on the Andy Griffith Show, but his dad Rance put the kibosh on that. In the days of classic television in the 1950s, most children were portrayed in one defined way. In shows such as Leave It to Beaver, or Dennis the Menace, or the Danny Thomas Show itself, kids were precocious, often leaned heavily into their bratty sides. These rascals were constantly getting into mischief, popping on screen to say something snarky to their parents or to complain about whatever predicament they had placed themselves in. Generally, they were suffering from annoying kid syndrome. A very specific type of child was depicted on screen, and these actors were also often typecast into roles where they showed off their wisecracking ways. Although this type created some memorable characters, including Beaver Cleaver and Eddie Haskell, they weren't exactly endearing to the parents or the audiences watching them. When Thomas and Sheldon Leonard, who also produced the Dick Van Dyke Show, came up with the concept of the show, the character of Opie was set to continue with this trend of irreverent behavior. Howard's father, an actor named Rance Howard, was the one who helped land Ron the part of Opie. Ron was just 6 years old at the time, but his father was sure he could take on the role effectively. However, Rance had some qualms about the part of Opie and how he would interact with Andy and their father-son relationship. Rance's influence would eventually help change the course of the development of the Opie character and Andy Griffith Show for the better. In an interview with Conan O'Brien, on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, Ron notes that his father believed that the character of Opie was a potential to be a much sweeter and well-mannered boy. He says that his father took it upon himself to just go up quietly to Andy at one point and say, "Now, I see they're writing Opie kind of the way they write the Rusty Hamer character on Danny Thomas." And like so many shows, where he's a wise ass. And he said, "You know, Ronnie can do that and everything. But what if we actually respected his father?" Griffith took his suggestion under consideration and realized this switched up would be incredibly beneficial for the show and the heartwarming, family-friendly story they were trying to tell. Ron didn't even know about this interference from his father until years later when he and Griffith were shooting a Mayberry-related project. Griffith described this behind-the-scenes process to him. Changing Opie from a brat to a sweet boy, who still makes mistakes but owns up to them, created what the show needed to portray an endearing and believable connection between father and son. With this alteration to his personality, Opie is a much more realistic child. He might get into trouble in pretty much every episode, but he looks up to his father and is never willfully misbehaving. Without Rance's push, the relationship between Andy and Opie would have been far less loving, and the air of kindness and heart running throughout the series would have been lacking. It's also a sign that the creative process for the series was allowed to be collaborative, where thoughtful suggestions were taken into account and incorporated in an authentic way. God bless you, Rance Howard. I don't think I could have handled if Opie was, one of those bratty kids that, I mean, they come to their senses by the end, but they're, they got hog time and stuff. And just the relationship between Andy and Opie was one of the best parts of the show. Just as relationship between Andy and Barney, but Andy and Opie, that's what it's based on, and that's what it's built around, in my opinion. And the rest of the cast added so much to that, and it's just really great. Again, thank you, Rance Howard. God bless you. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please don't forget about classic rural comedies, facts, and trivia. A little bit different over there today. If you remember String Bean from Hee Haw, I want to talk about his murder and what happened to his murderers. It's just a sad story, but it's one that intrigues me for some reason. Classic rock and country music, facts and trivia. John Bonzel of the Oak Ridge Boys has passed away. And classic TV, facts and trivia is on the Munsters. Check them out, guys, if you would. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please like this video. You guys have a great day. God bless you, and I'm praying for you.